Sönke, we come to another person who's been around quite a while, especially here in Berlin. Sönke is the CEO, co-founder, and executive producer of INVR. INVR is, I think, one of the really founding blocks of the Berlin VR scene here. They are a premium full-service VR studio, so they hook you up with all your needs for really immersive film, high-quality stuff. So really impressive work. If you're friends with those guys on Facebook, it's insane. I have the feeling they're never here, but then you still see them sometimes. But they are all over the world all the time. It's crazy. So I don't even know how much stuff you've produced by now. But yeah, you keep busy. And Sönke today is going to talk about something that I find very interesting. We are going through this, little downtime in VR right now. Some say. And we're gonna hear from him about what are possibilities to finance productions, how to get going with international partners, and how to get through that and still continue to make great VR content, because that's what we're here for, right? Exactly. All right. With that, take it on.
Is this on? Yeah. I have to put it to my mouth. Hello everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks for that very nice introduction. Don't have that all the time. And happy to be in Berlin, or in this case, Potsdam today, which is always nice. Not only when there is a VRCon, but as well. So yeah, as you introduced, we are running INVR.SPACE, virtual reality full service studio. We are seems that the format is not correct anymore after we changed from Keynote to Windows PowerPoint. But anyway, so what we're doing basically is production service, post-production service. We focus very much on research and development of different kind of technologies. I go a little bit deeper in all these fields later. We do technology sales and rental for all kind of equipment that you need for shooting and for showing VR content. So we have camera equipment, grip gear, remote dollies, as well as all kind of headsets that you could need for trade shows or showing it to your private friend. So yeah, just a brief overview about kind of projects. You asked that question, how many projects we did. I can say for 2017, but in 2016 we closed with kind of 150 projects in 360 and VR, 2 AR projects in 2016 as well. So 150 projects last year, which means this year we added a few more until now, so I'm looking forward to perhaps close this year with around 200 projects. So it's a variety of everything. We did like narrative projects. In this case, you see on the upper left, Rizzomat VR project we did in co-production with Arte and the Berliner Festspiele. A fictional project, you can see it in our booth over there. Future of VR is a project we did quite some month ago together with FMX in Stuttgart, interviewing the well-established old guys, or not by age but by professionality in the field of virtual reality. BMW iDriving, this one was a collaboration project of Samsung actually, and BMW, having a smart home experience on the one hand and virtual test drive with the BMW, but as well car configuration tool for the i3 and the i8. And on the other side, in between, there is a couple of projects like live music concerts that we worked on for the Magenta platform from Telecom, as well as different other platforms in live content. But as well, we are working a lot with NGOs. Did like 5 projects this year on the African continent. One of that was for UNICEF, but other NGOs have been involved in other projects as well. So we focus very much on this kind of content as well. So here's a short tutorial. I hope this works, at least in... No, it does not. Is there any hint how this could work in the PowerPoint? Okay. Heavy bass in here. Yeah, so brief overview about different projects we realized with INVR here from Berlin, so the project side. So next step, as I said, we are focusing very much on research and development of technologies. So we just heard a brilliant talk about the volumetric capture, video capture system. The Fraunhofer invention was introduced as well. So we are in a collaboration with Fraunhofer, HHI, Trotzkind, and in this side, it's my initial company, Real Life Film, working on the research and development for this volumetric studio. So this is one project going on for the next month, shooting a lot of test material right now. As well, we are in a light field technology research project for the next 3 years. I hope the first results can be shown here before next VRNowCon. So very challenging technology research projects. A couple of more, but they are under NDA, so I won't go too deep in that. Yeah, last but not least, as I said, we are running a rental where you can get all kind of equipment. I think I don't have to go through the images. Most of you will know what you can see there. As I'm talking about financing projects and how to produce content internationally, we learned the lesson from our past in the film business that it makes sense to collaborate and not to compete only on this market. At least if it's an innovative thing, then it makes sense not only by financing projects to collaborate, but as well to get the input from different parts of the world, from different kind of people who have different kind of views on technology, on creative approaches. So we joined with partners, the so-called Virtual Content Group based in Berlin with INVR, in Paris and in Melbourne. We can call ourselves a leading global VR company. We have a growing distribution library of more than 100 projects is written in here. I think we can say we are close to 200 projects that we can license right now. So with that, we try to focus more on content that we cannot do on our own in Berlin because we don't have the expertise, for example, or the pipeline for CGI-heavy projects, but as well, we got the distribution part to that. So I think here should be another showreel for the Virtual Content Group. So besides working on content of each kind, we try to bring this content to an audience. As you can perhaps see in the exhibition hall, there is a very small edition of that one, but we run VR cinema installations all over the world. These are just two examples from the European film market, Berlinale, last year, and the African hub. But as well, we just came back from Johannesburg in South Africa from Discop, where we had a VR cinema installation as well. So we try to bring that all over the world and bring the content from Africa, but as well to Africa, that we can gather all over the world. Watching the market is still developing. I'm hearing voices that VR is already dead. I don't think so. I think it's different ways of realizing what happens to the market and how it evolves. So there are three different trends that have been estimated. I think we are somewhere in the lower part, but still, when we don't have the impact of 29.5 billion US dollars, it is rising, and I'm pretty sure that even if we watch at the blue line, the economic impact from 2016 will be doubled until the end of 2017, as we still had a strong year in virtual reality now. We have estimated users for video games of 216 million worldwide, not in Germany, of course. We have estimated video entertainment, so which means 360 video of 79 million users, and live events of 95 million users estimated. So I think the telecom, I don't know if there is a talk from the telecom guys, but they could prove that the Magenta thing went pretty well during this year. So perhaps these estimations are even lower than the reality. So when we look at platforms like Steam VR, we can see that only 6% of the games on Steam VR are virtual reality content. But still it's 2,400 virtual reality experiences available there already, so it's a lot. On the other side, we can see that only 0.23% of the Steam users have a VR headset. So these 2,400 VR experiences can just be consumed by 0.23% of the people using Steam as a content platform. For Europe in February 2017, and that's why I'm still positive on that there is a market and that there is a growth, 300 VR companies have been recognized because I think a couple of companies are not recognized, or if I'm looking at the global overview of VR companies, we are not recognized. So I assume it's much more than these 300. And in August, so half a year later, it's already been 487 VR companies recognized. So it's a growth, at least on the company side. And I think if they are all working profitable, then this says something about the market as well. So for Germany only, it was at 120 million turnover in 2017 until now, or until August, when this statistic was done. And for 2018, there is a 270 million euro turnover estimated. So talking about where to go with your content, there are different kind of markets already. Festivals focusing on virtual reality content, 360 video content, of course, it's that case sometimes less the gaming side of virtual reality, but from our perspective as a cinematic VR content studio, of course, we call 360 video if it's done until a certain degree with immersive technologies like stereoscopic or sound-wise spatial sound, perhaps having some interactive elements in there, but not needing a controller, not having too many gamification elements in there. So in 2017, there was already the European film market during Berlinale having a VR pop-up cinema. Hopefully in 2018 again, I heard about that. The Biennale jumped into that field as well. There's a Laval Virtual VR AR market, which exists, I think, since 17 years or 18 years, so for a long time already. The Sheffield market, more focused on documentaries, of course, and many more. It's just a brief overview of a few here in Europe. Where a lot of VR content can be seen. A lot of race and quality is definitely to see during last year's editions, and There's definitely an interest of platforms, content buyers, licensing partners to buy content and to watch content there and to decide on which one fits best to the specific platforms. But still we have the dilemma that the demand and of course the output of production companies is growing worldwide. There's a lot of people doing virtual reality content, small projects, but big projects as well. But what we realize is that there is no real market structures right now, what you can talk about, like that's how it works, that's how it pays off, that's the revenue chain and so on, because there are no standards right now. There are standards for Steam, there are standards, there's rules for how to upload stuff to the Google Play Store or to the Oculus Store. But it's not real standards in there that we know from a broadcast world, for example, or how to deliver a DCP to a cinema. The whole distribution side is lacking behind a little bit. There are a couple of platforms, but still the audience doesn't really know where to go to get the specific content, what kind of platforms provide what kind of content, and so on. So that's making it a little bit difficult for an audience to just relax and watch whatever they want. So our feeling is that it would be helpful as well on the production side to collaborate much more and tell these platforms, broadcasters and so on, what kind of content can be produced and distributed, and talk to these platforms about what kind of target groups they feel, and what kind of content they need for specific markets. Like the Chinese market or the Asian markets are completely different to what we realize for European markets or for the US market, for example. Coming from a German perspective or European perspective, there are different ways of financing your content. Of course, it can be just co-production. Each company spends their own money in there. But again, coming from a filmmaker's perspective, of course, we know the system of funding. So just brief overview, I think there are more funds, and it's not about having significant statistical numbers here that really provide like how many projects have got how much money for that. But only in 2016, 2017 is not closed, so we can't say how many projects have been funded in 2016. It has been at least 30 projects funded that we know that are in production right now or already finished, only in the northern area. We put it in North and South Germany and not East and West. So, of course, in the southern parts there are fundings as well. We just took the fundings where we can rely that they really have money solid spent for virtual reality project. Of course, there are other funds that fund some VR projects, but not with a focus like that. Going more into Europe, of course, there's a Creative Europe fund with, of course, from American perspective, very small money, but if it just needs some more capacities or applying for a regional fund, but that's not enough money, of course it makes sense to search for more European co-producers and apply for money from Creative Europe that don't only give money, but give you an infrastructure and a network as well that helps you to distribute your project and bring it to an audience. As well, we just figured out there is a German, the MEDIENBOARD Canadian fund. So there are, what I just want to raise here, and this is not a complete overview, is there are different funds for different areas, for different kind of co-productions, which makes sense and that could be very attractive for foreign production companies to collaborate on projects. The way, in our eyes, to work more effective on high-level, high-end, high production value projects is commissioning and co-productions, of course, and to try to get pre-sales from the platforms and from the license deal people with international apps and platforms, with broadcasters, with foundations, with institutions, with funds, and so on. And talk to all these people and listen what they have in mind or what's the perspective for 2018. From, again, a German perspective, I think what we can say to partners in France, in UK, but in US as well as in China is that we have early distribution models, that we have a couple of players like Arte that are interested in co-production, and you know before you start shooting or going to Unity, depending on what kind of project you're doing, that you can get early distribution deals, and not only when you finished your project, and that helps you in the production budgets. That we definitely have innovative technology that's not only available in the United States, but could be very attractive for companies from the United States to collaborate with. And that we have funding opportunities here that are not normal everywhere in the world, and that's very attractive. And I would say that's my final sentence on that. Thanks a lot.